It's this freaking topic again. Is JeY UsO the Jeff Hardy of this generation? All right. Can't believe I got to do this, but I guess some people don't notice. Now, in this generation of fans, certain wrestlers get over faster because, if we're being real, it's usually the crowd looking for one little aspect to latch onto that makes that character more fun, knee, hybrid, whatever, right? You got Mr. Iguana, for example, instantly over. Why? Not because of his skills, but because he's a freaking iguana or painted up as one and he's got a toy puppet. So people see that, they think it's funny, they're amused by it, immediately over. Io Sky, let's use Io Sky as another example. I liked Io Sky for a long time because of her talent. I knew she was good. Pre-WWE, whatever. Other people, there were a lot of people who weren't on the Io Sky train literally until this became a thing. This is the level of fans that we're dealing with. Stephanie Vaquer, she's also good. Talented in the ring, got a nice look, but if we're being real, again, Devil's Kiss is what got her over so fast. And Booker T helping with that because the commentary was funny. Are you seeing a pattern here? JeY UsO, it was yeet. This is what's happening. Jeff Hardy didn't really have that. He was just over because he was cool, flashy in the ring, did a bunch of crazy stuff like in Team Extreme beforehand. So people were just genuinely a fan for what he did. For JeY UsO, it had nothing to do with anything other than yeet. It was yeet. It was all yeet. I can't even make this up. And just because of that, suddenly you got a portion of fans who now think Jimmy is trash. The reason why they like Jay is, oh, Jay's more over. And again, it's business reasons that have nothing to do with them because they're not in the business. They're like, oh, well, Jay's more over because he sells t-shirts. Look, I like him because everybody else does. Oh my God, it's so brain dead. I can't, laugh my ass off. Y'all really don't understand how big Jeff Hardy was back in 2007 to 2009. Not even close. Jay was swanton bomb from 30 feet high. It's really not close at all. I would even go as far as to say that Darby Allin is a closer parallel to Jeff Hardy as far as similarities. They're both just like Daredevil type style doing crazy shit. I would compare them from that aspect before, like, oh, we went from tag team to not tag team. Like, what kind of a comparison is that? I mean, all this does is attract more hate towards JeY UsO. You're setting him up so hard. Again, I don't hate JeY UsO, but the comparison is so surface level, it's crazy. Not everybody has to be like the next this or the next that. How hard I pronounce the F in fuck no. Two wrestlers who were a part of a great tag team everyone liked, who got betrayed by their brother. Okay, so we're going storyline and whatever. I wouldn't even argue that back when they were a tag team, and again, pre-Yeet, I wouldn't be surprised if more people thought Jimmy was the cooler one. Again, it literally came down to Yeet. Jimmy could have received the exact same push and it would have been the same effect or maybe even better, who knows. Anybody who's saying he's the next Jeff Hardy completely missed like the main reason of motion that got Jeff Hardy to where he was in the first place. Jeff Hardy was absolutely loved for his in-ring, for his crazy daredevil tactics. JeY UsO was not. JeY UsO got over primarily from out of ring. The topic of babyface versus babyface and heel versus heel. Some people hate the idea, even in this case, that it's babyface versus babyface because the crowd doesn't know who to get behind. First of all, for realism purposes, this was a King of the Ring tournament. Imagine ducking all your friends conveniently in a tournament. It's not going to work like that. You're going to have to come across people you're either okay with or friends with. It's not always going to be perfectly like good versus evil. But I want to see what other people thought because I don't know if I'm minority or not in this situation. Some people I've seen on YouTube, they get mad when this happens. Now, babyface versus babyface probably isn't as bad as heel versus heel, because I can get how that could kind of be awkward, especially depending on the type of heel that you have or that you're dealing with. But when you got two people that people generally like, who cares if the crowd picks a side or if nobody's booing anybody? But let's see what people are saying here. When done correctly, I think face versus face matches are some of the best matches. So this guy says they are, but you have to have characters who both cannot really lose. In this case, the match was good, but both characters were also pretty over, but there was kind of no way for Jay to win. Well, that's a booking problem. There's too many cop-outs. There's a way they can get around this and it still work, but the way how WWE does things, they've conditioned everybody to see through exactly who's getting pushed and who's overprotected and who's not. So everybody knew Cody was going to win. But what gets me is what the apparent reasonings are, according to some fans. Some people will have you believe that like, oh, this babyface can't lose, or else they'll lose all their fans or something. Which in that case, they weren't really good fans in the first place. And then that's when people can start getting accused of, oh, Superman this, Superman Hogan. Rhea Ripley was accused of this when she was being pushed like Superwoman. Cena versus Cody should have been face versus face. They care too much about protecting the egos of babyfaces because I guess it's awkward for them or something when you're supposed to be loved, but then you get that one audience that just boos you. Heel versus heel is 100 times better. I'm trying to think of an example. I can't think of it right now. Not gonna lie, I wasn't expecting these two to cook. For a JeY UsO match, it was definitely his best match. I guess this was a similar situation also. This is literally the era where John Cena was being accused that he can't wrestle, and then he got put up against Shawn Michaels. Off memory, it was a good match, but mostly because of Michaels. Here's the thing, here's what I noticed. This is what nobody really talks about this, because there's two different styles of in-ring. For as long as I've been a wrestling fan, I've never liked the WWE style of in-ring over anything else. They've always had like some of the worst in-ring to be. Some people like it because it's like slower and more dramatic and shit or whatever. I'm not saying I like no selling or something, but there's a difference between what WWE's doing in the ring and how they finesse some people into thinking it's like an amazing match than it actually is. And then what actual good high action matches look like with actual grapple interactions and stuff like that. So what I noticed is you can have one good wrestler or performer carry another guy who has 5 moves or however many moves, like just a low amount of moves, and that could still be a good match, mostly because of the other guy. Now, why don't we notice this? Because I guess if you only watch WWE, then you're already conditioned to a lot of matches where nothing's happening for long portions anyway. So you don't really notice that 4 moves is like a low amount of moves, because the substitute for the in-ring mixed in between is storytelling. Now, in my opinion, you can still wrestle like a way better style and still have storytelling in the match. Let me put it this way. There's a lot of cases where WWE likes to play it really mid for a long period of time, so that when they turn it up just a little bit, it looks like they're going off. But really, they're not. They're just like kind of doing normal shit. For example, Shawn Michaels is one of the best performers in the ring. Now, his moveset and the switch in music, which a whole nother topic of how the super kick has been killed, coming in another video. But in the case of Shawn Michaels, he was the master of the storytelling type performance. And his finisher worked very well with that because, again, a lot of people love the finishers that can come out of nowhere. Switch in music and RKO are the 2 best examples of this. So you could be deep in a match and you're invested in whatever, not knowing who's gonna win in whatever case. Both people looking very exhausted, and then suddenly Shawn Michaels just pulls a crazy super kick out of nowhere in whichever context, whether it's as a counter or whatever, and then he either gets a near fall or it wins the match. Either scenario, you're on the edge of your seat for that moment. So WWE takes you from like down here to up here. So it's the change in like height of tension or whatever you want to call it that you're feeling more than I guess other matches that are just kind of all the way through, well not all the way through, but for more periods of time just like high back and forth. But some people do prefer that, so that's what's going on there. But yeah, not to say people are wrong for liking this style more, but there's definitely been a lot of matches where I'm just sitting there waiting for something to happen. I guess I notice it more than other people, but it's whatever. But yeah, face versus face, I'm completely alright with that, but again, most of the time I end up liking the heel more than the face anyway, so I guess I'm not normal, because half the time baby faces are lame and just uninteresting anyway. But that's just me. Like, you can't control and micromanage everyone. That's what they try to do, and I feel like they're trying way too hard to do that. You can just tell the story that you're trying to tell or whatever, and then if the person ends up liking this person more, and that person happens to be the heel, that's fine. Because the alternative is you do what you're doing now and have people not enjoying the product or Cena's heel turn because they're not supposed to. At that point, you're just sabotaging the product because you're trying to get the last portion of people to all hate with the people that you're supposed to hate or that just follow the rules or whatever. Anyways, all I'm saying is the micromanagement is crazy. If the story makes sense, I think you could do heel versus heel. I think you could do babyface versus babyface, and it could still work. Like, after a certain point, it kind of pays to be at least a little bit realistic in some areas, or else we're just being ridiculous.
I cannot believe what. Oh, is there any air left in Michaels? Able to slip away. Turn it around. Are you kidding me? Big time move from Michaels. And a kick out. Oh, that was more than close. That was inches away from 3 millimeters. And Michaels is so used to any man. Oh, Shawn Michaels turn up the back. And the cut, Michaels with the exclamation point. He kicked out at 2. I don't know how he did it, but he's hanging in there. Just how much pain is he willing to endure in this match? And guys, Michaels is stunned. HBK thought this one was over, but the match will continue. Hard impact on the back. The unrelenting offense.
offense from these superstars, the will to keep going, that's what this is all about. Boom! Basement drop kick.
Everyone is on their feet in this building. Absolutely showing the
Diving headbutt.
Michael's shoulders are down. Man, that is gonna feel good. Sweet, sweet victory.
Here is your winner,
Shawn Michaels tasting the agony of defeat.
HBK obviously frustrated by this result, upset with himself for losing.
You best believe Shawn's gonna learn from this and make sure he doesn't make the same mistake